Let's go straight to the papers. That's what we're doing right about now. We do have public affairs analyst Sesan Okunade who joins us. Good morning and thank you.
Joins us all the way from our ultra-modern lounge.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here this morning. A very cozy area where I feel very comfortable.
Thank you very much for applauding the excellence of New Central's lounge.
Yeah, we're going to the next level.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who's put that lounge together.
Absolutely.
You know, to be able to...
A very comfortable place. You can come in like 30 minutes before the program.
your analysis
and you'll
can
be able
be
to be on point.
And watch the show while you're there.
We must be honest, New Central is a great place to work.
You don't just watch. You don't just watch the news while you're there. You feel like you want to go to the convenience, even when you're not feeling.
And we have the finest convenience.
Don't go there, babe.
Yes.
It's fine.
I wish we can use this hour to just talk about how...
Benga's okay, please. If you go to
Benga started now. Please,
if you go to the Daily Independent, there's a story in front of the Daily Independent, a picture which has to do with what took place yesterday. The suspended senator was making a return, staging a return back to the National Assembly, and eventually was denied access. But one man was on ground to cover this entire situation, this entire fracas, like you like to call it, or debacle, whichever name you choose, Sha. That's your choice. But we'll come back to our analyst to talk about it. Sege Ibrahim joins us now. Sege, yesterday was like a movie. Some felt they put Nigeria in a difficult situation by painting us, bad in terms of image out there. This is not the Fuji House of Commotion. This is not someone's house. This is the National Assembly. And that happened. You covered it. Can you share with us what happened and how it all happened?
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Olive. Good morning, Benga. Thank you so much for having me on Breakfast Central this morning. Like you mentioned, it's the People's House, it's the People's National Assembly. One would expect that...
Is Saga there? Okay, seems we have a little network connectivity issue. But let's come back to Sesan, because Sesan equally followed that situation, and it's also on the front page there.
Punch newspaper.
Yeah. Let's still stick to Daily Independent.
Okay, Daily Independent.
Yes, since we have the story there.
Okay.
Before we go back to Sege, what was your take with what you saw yesterday? The entirety of the... Would you call it a shame?
Yeah, I will call it a shame, and I will say this to say that our leaders do not most of the time consider the implication of some of their actions. Both parties here, I think I will trade the blame to. First and foremost, I asked myself the question, fine, the court has given the approval for Natasha to return back to the house. There are certain things I believe that we can always say to behind the scene, but I've observed that we must politicize it. We must come and give trending issues. And I've come to the conclusion that it's just diverting people's attention from the real thing. We're talking about suffering, we're talking about people not having access to this thing, and the next thing we want to come about and discuss is how she's been denied. I've asked myself the question, there are certain things, I stand to be corrected, I may not be up to date as at this morning. There are certain things expected of her to have actually done too. I think there was an apology expected of her from the courts in 2 national dailies, as those things have actually been fulfilled. One, on the part of the National Assembly that is actually given instruction from the video we had, because we saw 2 people came up and said, we have the instruction. Even when Aisha was asking them, they could not make mention of the person that gave that instruction that she should not have access to that place. I feel that our leaders require some certain knowledge of emotional intelligence. This rubs off on us as a nation, and there are ways at which they can manage this crisis that will bring some confidence on the part of the people that they claim they are leading. A lot of us have said it, that Natasha is actually denied access. You have denied the right of the electorate that voted her in doing certain things. I'm sure the people back home would have, one way or the other, tried to talk to them. What they are all displaying here is that the electorate has no say. Natasha may not be, responding to the people she claimed to be leading. What they are portraying is that I got this mandate based on what I have expended. I'll do it the way I want, and I won't listen to anybody. But I think that this drama, it's enough. We have so much pending issue that calls for government attention that has to do with the people as against this drama that we are seeing with at the National Assembly.
All right. Let's go back to Sergey, who's back with us. Sergey, go ahead and shed more light on what happened yesterday.
All right. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone in the studio. Let's give this another shot. So yesterday, as expected, she had touted that she was going to return to the National Assembly to continue with her legislative functions as senator. Well, we were at the gate expecting that she would arrive initially. She didn't come, so we thought that it was like the last time she had touted her return. So it was when we were almost giving up that she's not going to make the appearance anymore. Lo and behold, there she was trying to access the facility. And like the analyst said in the studio, she was denied access. By whom? Well, that question was not given the proper answer that it deserved. But then again, she decided to proceed on foot to access the main gate and subsequently to enter the National Assembly. But unfortunately, it was locked. The National Assembly was locked, preventing both entry and exit from the National Assembly because of her arrival. She tried severally, stating that it's a constitutional right to do so, and still no response. It was basically. I literally would not even know what to call it right now at the moment. But one thing I would need to mention at this point is I've been consistent with the fact that she has remained out of the Senate chambers for 4 months. And in this 4 months, it means that the people of Kogi Central have been denied legislative representation. Now, Joe, Olive, one thing I want you to note is over the course of the last 6 months of plenary, a lot of bills regarding, for example, the establishment of educational institutions, the establishment of health institutions, the establishment of educational institutions by senators and even members of the House of Representatives across different parts of the country, particularly in their own constituencies, at various levels of legislation in the National Assembly. Some first reading, some second reading, some are brought into public hearing stage, while some have been passed and some are awaiting passage. The crux here is for the past 4 months or so, none of these bills has been, has been passed or has been brought to the fore of the National Assembly with regards to Kogi Central Senatorial District. And the obvious reason is because their representative, the lawmaker who ought to have been doing that for them, has not been in the Senate. This is another situation of the classic case of an individual against the authorities, like many would describe it. She has also said that, of course, she would be going to the Court of Appeal for a proper interpretation of the judgment of the Federal High Court, so as to ensure that the issues regarding whether the pronouncement by Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court is indeed a ruling of the court or is an advisory that is not binding on the Senate, like the Senate spokesperson had mentioned, of course, and like has been the position of the National Assembly. But then it was, some would call it a futile attempt, but for her, she feels is a statement, a significant gesture to show that, once again, I've tried to ensure proper legislative representation for my people, and once again, I've been denied access for something that ordinarily the court has described as excessive use of sanctions and should be reviewed.
Thank you very much, Sergey. I also want to find out if this issue of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's return was discussed on the floor of the House during plenary yesterday.
Well, interestingly, that's where the contrast is. While the entire drama was ensuing outside, it was really calm and tranquil in the chambers. Aside from the fact that the base legislative proceedings went on as usual. There was not a mention, almost as if the lawmakers were not even aware of what was going on outside. So it was a regular plenary session. Expectedly today, of course, they had mentioned from yesterday's plenary that they'll be carrying out a valedictory session today to honor President Muhammadu Buhari, of course, some of which will be reporting later. But then No, not at all. Her name was not mentioned. The activities outside of the National Assembly was not mentioned. Usually, like the last time that it had happened, when protesters were outside of the gate protesting and demanding for Senate President Akpabio to resign, on the floor of plenary, he had mentioned this. He's aware that some people were outside, protesting. And it was at that moment he made it clear that nothing of such regarding sexual harassment or whatever the allegation had been at the time, ever happened between him and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. But for yesterday's case, it was almost as if they were in a world of their own, carrying out legislative functions as usual, without a mention of what the situations were outside of the gate.
All right. Thank you, Sir Ibrahim, for bringing us up to speed about the happenings concerning this case. We will then come back into the studio and have Mr. Okunade react to this. You've heard everything that he has said. Sesan Okunade, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, like I said initially, it's a drama that we citizens are really not interested in. And what do I mean? We have more pressing issues that we have to talk about. I listened to the MPC report where we're still retaining interest at 27%. And you expect an average business to survive. In that particular context, we have an issue of insecurity where killing are pervaded. As far as I'm concerned, if our leaders cannot have an understanding within themselves and solve some of these issues, I'm sure Joe, myself, Oli, and Benga, we don't have contribution that we can make to do this. Mr. President is watching the scenario itself, and I feel they feel comfortable with it. What we are concerned about as citizens is to speak to the fact that they should work more on things that will make Nigeria much more better. I'll make a small reference to what happened between the two leaders, Edo State Governor and Peter Obi. You can imagine the way they are just trading with. And I asked myself, are these issues that we should be seeing between the so-called leaders of our country when we have pressing issues around us that requires urgent attention? Look at the drama that is happening in the power sector, states coming to say we want to reduce it, and all sorts. I feel this is, as far as I'm concerned, least of my worries. And like you saw the correspondent said, that those that were inside did not even have a pulse of something happening at their gate. Is to tell you how interesting that can be.
Just,
well, let's say I play
just backpedal on what you said. You talked about trading words. Who is trading words?
The Babolo issue of trade.
And but trading words implies two people are. There's a back and forth.
Okay, well, I won't say between Peter. Okay, between the obedience and because I know it was actually trending where they said there was a threat, and that's why it became a public discourse. I've seen the chief press secretary responded that it wasn't. The governor has come out to say, well, not that intention. I was actually saying what the protocol should look like. So, and that also on that basis, I felt there was actually an extra. But there are more pressing things I keep asking every day that requires the government attention than this drama that we keep seeing in every angle of our economy.
Like the police being on strike because they want a better quality of life.
The same police that will badge you and I of actually carrying out protests. I was about saying that where are the legal luminaries to penalize them? Because when we are
those ones are retired.
They are retired.
Yes.
But while they were in service, while they were in service, the same set of people will not allow. Remember, people advocated and protested for their better welfare, and they were actually denied access to some of these things. Now they are out. Now they are out of the scope. You don't have power again. The same way, politicians that you will call today do this for the betterment of the people. When they are out, they will start telling us stories of how better they can do it, which they did not do while they were there. These are things that come from question.
Okay.
That sounds like a shot at the ADC. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the papers this morning and look at, still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Osun PDP leaders endorse Tinubu Adeleke for second term. That's a story we'll talk about.
I love that.
I mean, there's so many other stories. Apollo insists Obi must inform him before visiting Edo. Federal government issues fresh flood alerts for 28 states. External reserves hit $40.1 billion in July, according to the CBN governor. Africa losing $90 billion annually to imported substandard fuel. Dangote laments. Attorney General Fagbemi's office denies government stake in First Holdco PLC. Wow, we are still on this matter. I mean, they've called This Day Arise reports malicious. But let's come back to Osun PDP.
State.
First of all, did you foresee Adeleke? I know there had been speculations in the past weeks about the potential of Adeleke moving to the APC, but now he has affirmed that he's not moving to the APC. He's a firm member of the PDP, but now he's throwing his support behind Mr. President.
Like I told people concerned, I'm from that state, and with the way people are handling
That's your state?
political parties, yeah. I'm
Oh,
from
wow,
Osun State.
okay.
So,
You can see the passion in this.
the way they are handling things. You can be, Wiki was in PDP and work for Babana.
Yeah,
and
that's
today,
what we
So
call
it's a normal thing now.
It's a norm. It's a norm. So, because, and you see, it speaks to the fact which a lot of us have said, some of these political lack ideologies. So you can be in, see even the coalition between, so some people are still staying in their party and saying they are coaliting with this particular party to make things work. So with what we're having in Osun State, it's what is expected. You look at the path at which you can have safe landing. And the man is already saying, even though I'm in PDP, I'm putting my weight, and I want to see how far this drama will go. Because as we speak, PDP is now giving the concession to a southern presidential candidate, which open it up. So if you are on the premise that I'm giving my weight behind Ashiwaju because he's a southerner, that the PDP is possibly going to fix give us a northern representation. Now they are saying that they will concede that to South-South. Let's wait to that last-minute dilemma.
Mr. Okunade, I know you've been following politics for quite some time, but I find this quite unusual because you're a sitting governor in the party. You haven't even done conventions. You don't even know the people that want to contest in your own party, which I find it, this is an anomaly. I don't think we're just seeing this in this dispensation, that you belong to a party, but you endorse a current president in another party before the elections, 2 years before the elections.
Benga is not just happening.
Why are we seeing this?
Benga is not just happening. We are in a country that anything can happen. And that's the way we've
But he
been
doesn't
saying
even know who the PDP is going to present, and he's already thrown
even as at the last election, that the former governor of Rivers State had understanding who the particular candidate was. He still worked against their candidate to favor the country, and he was open there to say, yes, I'm not in line with this candidate given by, and I asked myself, why, if you share the ideology, you should be able to follow to letter, criticize yourself, or you leave them and join the other. But this idea of anti-party stuff has been in existence, not just before this particular one. We've seen that happen even during those, well, you call it anomaly. For politicians, it's a way of having their way to get what they want. And that's why we've said times to that number that a lot of politicians are actually there for their interest. That's why they will tell you that in politics, no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. If they were referring, the chief press secretary to the governor of Edo State was referring to how Peter Obi locked El Rufai out while he was governor. And I asked myself, ADC is now having coalition of the same. So there are a lot of drama that are happening. I won't refer to it as anomalies. In politics, is a way of satisfying your own interest while they are there. So Adeleke is the organizing way to see how you have safe landing, because you understand the plight that I think there is a big train between the main man that acts in Osun State, which is Aregbe, and Mr. President. And Oyetola seems to just be cool to say that let's come together and see the best that we can give to me, because he knows that he decides a lot of things.
There's another story on the front page of the Daily Independent I want us to highlight. It says we import 10 million barrels of crude monthly from U.S. others, says Dangote. That's the first part. I mean, this is a case of going to Sokoto for waiting day inside your Sokoto. Because, I mean, Nigeria is blessed with crude oil, and then you go around importing 10 million barrels. The second part, it says Africa is losing $90 billion annually importing substandard fuel. This is the Daily Independent newspaper. I mean, why are we even importing this substandard fuel? Is there no standard mechanism for checking quality? And also this thing of looking to Sokoto for what is inside your Sokoto.
Yeah, that will always happen there, Benga. One, first and foremost, where is the standard?
That's an anomaly. I just learned that one, by the way.
Everything is anomaly before you, Benga.
I just learned it. I'm using it.
Before our leaders, they are the norm that must happen. You see, the importation of some of those products, you ask yourself, for Dangote to be raising this, and every person will tell you that it's because it's into that business. It's just raising false alarm. I'm expecting the reaction of government on this particular thing, but I'm calling out this morning the Standard Organization of Nigeria, at least part of their responsibility, to see to the quality of what we produce locally and what is actually being imported. What is their own side to this allegation or this report purported by Dangote? And I can tell you, you see, a lot of people benefit from some of these things you call anomalies, Benga, and that's why it will continue to be the norm of the day. Even the insecurity you are talking of, people are cashing out on the sales of ammunition. And that's why they will not allow that thing. And you see, part of the problem we have is that don't allow your dog to taste blood. The next thing he will be hunting for human being. Once they taste the goodies in some of these things, the importation will continue because a lot of people are benefiting from it. When you have, why do people want to travel here and there? Is it not because of extra codes? When you get dollar, can you compare it to Naira, Benga? If they ask you as you are now, if my MD say, Benga, where do you prefer for your next training? You want to go to Uyo, where I just arrived from, or you prefer to go to Dubai? Benga, be fair with yourself. I'm sure you won't pick Uyo.
Of course, I love Uyo.
You love Uyo, but at least you want to explore Dubai.
No, I don't like Dubai for personal reasons. I mean, Dubai, look at the United Arab Emirates. They're very complicit in the genocide in Darfur. They're funding the Rapid Support Forces. So geopolitically and as a matter of personal principle, I don't visit countries
maybe we should ask all
that do such things.
Why are you bringing me inside the conversation?
Why do you deflect it to her? That's an anomaly.
But you see, an average person will want to actually go on those international trips, and nothing but because of the foreign exchange attached to it. And that's why we keep saying we have a lot of regulatory agencies that are supposed to monitor this. The question is, what are they doing? By now, Dangote has come out to tell us that it can meet the demand of our local production and can even by extension to West Africa. And here we are, we still believe that we must import, whether it's the original, whether it's substandard. The fact remains that we should be patriotic enough to promote that which we have. And it is the same people that will be telling you that local content, buy Nigeria, eat cassava bread, eat this.
Where's cassava bread now? It's been a long time.
Continuation of government policies. You know, one government comes in.
The current government did not believe in that.
Look at the mega schools in Ondo State, for example, that the doctor governor, Mimiko, Mimiko built. The next government that came discontinued. Brilliant idea. And
it will take me to that one too. I was in New York later and I asked, the world-class hospital built by our Senate President.
Yes.
What's
the state?
What's the state now?
Even your home state, Osun State, the Okwaimo, the tablets.
Continuation of policy is part of what we keep saying, that inconsistency in our policies. When this government comes in, the next thing you're looking at is what is beneficiary to me that I can use. We don't have idea to say, okay, this administration, even of the same political party, they will come and discredit that which you have. And that's costly, if you ask me, because you are just reinventing the wheel. There are times that they will abolish a particular policy, and months later will come redefining it with another name. Following the same distance, and say that's your own initiative. It's something that our leaders just need to look at.
I think our leaders are obsessed. Some leaders are obsessed with attaching their names to success or projects.
And that's why it will be difficult for us to have a system that will work, because everybody wants everything. You know, I did this.
Exactly.
Not that my country. Because we empower you to do it. We actually empowered you to do it. Whatever initiative. It's not the initiative of you only approved some of those things, because you have lieutenant working across board on whatever you're doing. And that's why we keep saying that having a strong institution and a system will be difficult because of that fundamental thing. Everything wants to be, I did this. It was during my administration, this was actually achieved.
All right, let's go to another paper, the Daily Independent. On the front page of the Daily Independent, 2027 election, PDP finally zones presidency to the south. Holds neck to address issues bedeviling party. Founding fathers move to reclaim party's legacy. Southeast PDP disowns Odefa as national vice chair ahead of NEC. Governor Adeleke Osun PDP endorsed Tinubu for second term. I wonder how the PDP feels about Governor Adeleke endorsing the president.
Current president.
I wonder how.
My sister, that's an anomaly.
Hey, we will not hear the end of an anomaly on the show this morning.
Until when we get to the NEC meeting, we see how there's always an excuse for everything you're doing, and you always get away with it. You'll be surprised that he's having discussion with certain set of people. When he get in there, he just opposed the reason why that will happen, and there will be forth and back on that. I'm actually looking at the position of the Minister of FCT on this particular thing because he will be at that next meeting too.
And knowing that Mr. Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President, has left, does it change the dynamics of the next meeting? And how much of a factor is he in the political dynamics and shenanigans?
Yeah, from what I heard from the leaders, the founding fathers of PDP, they said his exit will actually consolidate some of the beliefs, some of the virtue of what we know for PDP. We are waiting. I heard.
Is Wike happy that he left?
Wike will be happy now because that's what he's actually been advocating for. And now you are seeing the exit of that man, and now you are conceding that to the South. I don't know. He might be one of the people to be considered to part of their presidential candidate when it comes. But I'm only saying that when you look at the South, we have him, we have remember the strong big five that actually worked for
the G5, the G5, PDP G5.
That's
Makinde, Wike, Tom.
Enugu State Governor was one of them, Abi.
Yeah,
I know they were G5.
No, you're right. G5.
G5.
The G5 is in 5 again.
And they are still intact in
one of the
PDP.
G5 is planning to go for the PDP presidential candidate.
Is it only one? There are two now. There are rumors, but we have. I'm sure people are speculating she is there. Wike has made an attempt, and I'm sure he want to give it a try.
No. Wike is firmly behind Mr. President.
He's behind
anyway, next year is convention season. We'll have this conversation next year when the parties inch towards their national conventions to choose their candidates. We are running ahead of ourselves.
Okay, we wait till
lights
then.
in Lagos. We are talking of 2027.
And the potholes that nearly.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is that we are in
these are craters. They've graduated from potholes to
2025.
craters.
Yes.
We are 2025. And I've not been hearing 2026, and I ask myself, is that a calendar that will look up to me? You don't skip, don't
Psychologically, you think. I've not heard any mention
I've not heard anything that, okay, these are plans, whether this reform. The only thing I've heard about 2026 is come January 1st, the implementation of the new reform will take effect, which given 6 months.
It's almost
that's the only time I've just hearing 2026. It's like this is 2026, we are just moving to 2027. And that's the way we can see
it's a
things.
year of double promotion. Everything
and it's good when you double.
I want us to talk about the rebasing of the economy, which is at the bottom of still on the Daily Independent. It says, you can't celebrate rebased GDP while hunger is killing Nigerians. ADC is blasting Tinubu. So we talked about this earlier. They were celebrating the rebased GDP, saying Nigeria had made 3.13% year-on-year growth. And now they're saying, we had a guest earlier who sort of broke this down for us. But now it's looking like, okay, this is not yet reflecting. If you're saying that there's been some form of improvement, it's not yet reflecting the quality of lives of the everyday Nigerians. And ADC is blasting the president about it. Yeah,
well, ADC is doing what we've asked the opposition to do, which we've actually called on the PDP then to actually, come out with constructive criticism of some of the results that the president or the current administration may be given. If you ask a common man out there, what they want is they don't want all this English, all this economic term. You are rebasing, GDP is improving, our debt to ratio, tax, they are not concerned about that. They want a situation where you will tell them that the current price of egg, which the health ministry will tell you that you must give 1 egg to a child a day, has come from about 6,500 to about 1,000 naira. That's the language where a common man wants to hear that a bag of rice has reduced from 70-something naira to about all those economic. Each time I come on, I tell individuals that care to listen that when you come and you speak all this GDP, MSA, NID, the common man is not out there. What the common man wants to hear is that you have grown our economy, it's improving. And we can see the impact that the price of food and commodity is reducing. You don't need to come on here. I'm sure when your correspondent goes out, they will see a lot of people to tell you that this administration is working. But when some of us who understand English come on here and break this thing down, it's not. In fact, they come after a lot of analysts to say, sir, okay, no wonder we can see that you are living fine. They don't know that you yourself, you have those things that are pinching you. But you don't come out and say what people want.
3.1% is not enough.
Even if you have come to say it's 10.5%, what an average citizen wants to hear, what it translates to, is it impacting in reducing the cost of fuel? Where I will no longer fuel my tank with as high as 80,000 to fill. You know, there was a period, the same vehicle, you will use less than 10,000 naira to fill. Now you are using 50, 60,000.
I can't remember the last time I had fill up in a petrol station.
No, if you do that, they have to go and blow siren and call their event planner. When you say fill up, even the petrol attendant looks at you that, sir.
Odogu.
Hey, you will call the manager, sir, we have a prime customer here that you need to give an handshake to. That's what an average citizen wants to hear, that things are actually translating, not on paper. And we've said it times to that number, there are fantastic policy on paper. When it comes to implementation and the impact on common man, we want a situation where we wake up and hear that price of fuel has dropped.
Absolutely. We'll get there.
August 15.
But let's go to Casablanca in Morocco and see what's happening there. We're in celebratory mode, the Super Falcons. I mean, you know, you celebrate
away from abnormality.
Away from anomaly. And to go shenanigans. Let's talk to Onyechi Obara, News Central sports correspondent, region is live from North Africa, Morocco. Onyechi, congratulations to you and the Super Falcons. Can you give us an update of what's happening and what's the mood in the camp? Are we ready to bring the trophy home to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Sunday? Onyechi, you're looking so fantastic.
Thank you so much, Binga. At the moment, we're celebrating after that win against South Africa. You know, South Africa has been a pain in the neck, and the fact that they are the defending champions, it was sweet joy to have sent them packing, sent them back home. The girls, yes, they were really happy, though their joy was really cut short due to that injury to Gabriela Salgado. But the spirit of sportsmanship, they had to show their, you know, their feeling, their emotions. We had the captain of the side, Rasheedat Ajibade, having to shed tears after that. But we're still happy with the fact that they had punched their ticket to the final, and Mission X is indeed possible. So the girls are happy at the moment. They have a long day of rest. They've got days to rest before the final. We did notice that yesterday the Nigerian team will be facing Morocco in the final. So they have all the revenge they want to execute in the final of the Women's African Cup of Nations, because it was Morocco who deprived the girls from that final ticket in the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations.
Very interesting. Can you share with us, I know you spent a little time with the girls while they were in celebratory mode. Can you tell us what Nigerians in Casablanca or in Morocco were equally doing?
I beg your pardon, please repeat the question. I didn't get much of the question.
All right, I'm saying I know you spent a little time with the girls as well after they won, after the victory. Can you share with us what they were doing and also what Nigerians in Morocco were equally doing in terms of celebrating, for celebration?
If I I begin to tell that story, I don't think we're going to go out of here today. It began with Nigerians in Morocco. They kept dancing, taking the dance away from the stadium down to the streets of Casablanca, and they kept shouting, cheering, Mission X is possible. Mission X is indeed possible. They carried, stereos, they brought sound systems, and they were dancing on their own. The thing over here is that after every single match at Ladobe Zuli, we have security having to tell fans to leave the stadium, leave the main bowl, take the celebration out there just to keep their facility in check. So every single Nigerian fan, they know after 30 minutes of celebration in the stadium, they move away to the streets. They take the celebration to the streets, and you see them dancing. Moroccans are really, envious of the happiness we feel every time the Super Falcons, get to defeat any team at Ladobe Zuli. The Ladobe Zuli Stadium has become our home ground. We've been able to play from the group stage down to the quarterfinal and the semi-final. But the final, we have to go to Rabat. Let me tell you, every single Nigerian fan is saying, we own Rabat. I was speaking the words of one of the fans. I sampled his opinion. He said, Rabat is the new capital of Nigeria. We own Casablanca. We own it right here. We're going to own Rabat when we get to the final of the Women's African Cup of Nations. They're going to come in their numbers. We did see a bit of free tickets given to some of the fans yesterday. That's why they came in their numbers. We need more numbers. Yes, the Super Falcons need more numbers at the main bowl. Why the Super Falcons? I tell you, they were cheering and thanking and appreciating every single fan. We saw Chiamaka Nnadozie, the goalkeeper of the Super Falcons, go with her dance moves, giving us the VAR kind of dance move after every single, cheer from the fans. They kept thanking them, they kept clapping for them, and they are really appreciative that the fans have been able to form different kind of songs for them. I can give you a sample of those songs. We have Jennifer Baby, oh, Jenny Baby, oh, Jennifer. That's for Jennifer Echegini. Then we have Now our Falcons be this, so we no get another one. Now our Falcons be this, so I let all the songs understand. So that's the mood right now after punching your way to the final of the Women's African Cup of Nations.
You need to be careful, Sha. This one you're saying that Nigeria is capital of Rabat. I can see people around you there. Maybe they don't give you one kind of eye. Say, this one. Calm down.
Thank you so much. And I hope the next time we speak to you, we'll have secured Mission X. Thank you for
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time.
Congrats.
We have to now get out of the studio. This is how we wrap up Breakfast Central. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to all.
We'll come here next week and celebrate the Falcon.
We'll carry
At
the
least
cup.
that will be a diversion of anomalies that we experience.
I cannot
anomalies and political
in 10 seconds. Of course, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Ewe.